Perfect.
Let's see here. What's it with people looking younger? You
Well,
look
I don't
younger,
know.
and you're not
I
the only
like.
one. I've seen some other people. It's what's going on?
Well, we're shifting for sure. I hope.
Slight. I don't think there's any doubt we're shifting. I
Yeah,
mean,
definitely. I saw your first
yeah,
post today, and it says, "We got this." And I think you said, "We got this." And when I woke up this morning, I received a similar message
yeah,
that, humans, you are now on your own, kind of encouragement and the confirmation that
yeah.
how much we have been working to empower ourselves. And so, yeah, it was very nice confirmation to see your post and remember what I received this morning when I woke up. So,
Yeah. And the thing is, that energy is there, but I don't know if we're all feeling it at the same time. Like, I think we
right.
go through periods of, and you have synchronicities like that, and then the day
Mm-hmm.
will go by. You might go to sleep. Other things can happen. You can have something show itself to be, brought into an equilibrium. I mean, there's just so much
Yeah,
going on, but it's moving so fast. To
right.
to me, it really feels like we're there. We're
Mm-hmm.
here. It's just a matter of, I don't know what the word is. Living that, being that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely. And things come up to the surface and we clear it, we look at it, we love it. And then boom, another,
A
big awareness.
lady came on today and she said, and sometimes you have to get a jackhammer out or a sledgehammer. But it's true. It doesn't
So are
last
we
very.
on live?
Yes, we're live.
Oh, we are.
We've got 34 people in the house. We got a Haruko, BlueStar child in the house, Mount Shasta. So, what are you feeling? Like, what are you feeling collectively and personally? Because it's moved so fast this month. Last weekend was a solar flash, and this weekend to me feels like it's the same, but bigger.
Right. Well, you know, I feel like we are more and more trusted, more and more empowered that, it's just a mirror of how much capacity we, gained. And so, because universe and everything else works in harmony in a way, so even though we feel like we got blasted with a solar flare and all that things, but it is we are creating it,
Yeah,
and to own that is really important because we become more kind of like a victim, or
yeah,
get washed away with this after effect of what happened, and to keep reminding ourselves that we are creating this.
right.
So how are we going to use this to clear ourselves more or empower ourselves more? So I feel that we are really doing it,
Yes.
of course. And acceleration is really is is our willingness, and I feel that there is a you know deep level of excitement, and also deeper level of dedication
Yeah.
that more and more people are owning our everyday life experience, and we are doing less and less of the projection to outside and
Yeah.
owning our own shit, um, yeah. And yeah, we are, yeah, doing this together. of course, and together means like solar flare, the sun, the planet, everything. We are part of the whole. So, more and more we empower ourselves and more discover who we really are. Then outside of us really shows us to really push through more and more how we can be more empowered and how we can be owning as a creator.
Boom.
Phew.
Boom. Are you feeling anything from Mount Shasta?
Yes, I've noticed, ever since I opened my gallery space here, 3 years ago. It was, 6 months before the COVID things, and so I've noticed that, I'm really working together with the portal here, and really anchoring in a physical level to the new Earth grid. And I think we share this. The last year was more like a war of, who's gonna be taking caring the portal here, the one without heart or the one with a heart for the humanity and for the earth and beyond. And of course, it settled with the one who are in the highest, intention, the being of the light. And so this year, after January, especially February too, it's more in the maintenance state.
Yeah.
So it's less work, but also, of course, you have to be always watchful.
Yeah, of
And
course. Of
yeah,
course.
and
There's
I've
a lot of humble
noticed that.
pie still being served by the universe. But you're
You're right.
right. You're right. There's like an aspect of finding it, like finding the lifestyle, basically, I guess, to put it in human terms. And then you get to that point and it kind of embodies or anchors. And then it's more like, what can I do with this? Like,
Mhm.
what can we actually do with this? Because it is limitless. And the fact that we're in this dense, or what was a dense reality, everything's become more possible. So what can we do? Like, I'm so
Yeah.
interested in uh, rematerializing on another part of the earth, or in physical, or taking some part of my physical form or my consciousness. I don't really have it, but there's some extraordinary things happening, and all the things that were distracting us don't seem to be sticking anymore, even if we want them to.
Yes. Yes, definitely so. Because the one who tried to stick is really like they're stuck in this linear form. But we are in the quantum field now. So, it just doesn't end there. Like they try to control, but then there's more that we can go around and create the newness, so they can't stick, and we are always flexible, and we learn so much, so we kind of learned how to be flexible and how to work with different energy that seemingly coming up to us. But we got wiser and wiser, and hey, I can bring my energy into this way, or I can bring my perspection in this way, and then like whew, the reality shifts, so they can't really stick.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot to be said for.
And that's yeah.
Go ahead. It
Go ahead.
lagged. No, it lagged. I'm sorry. Um, but there's a lot to be said for the conscious higher alignment or equilibrium that we bring into ourselves, and we when we don't leave the arena, when we don't leave the situation, and we actually stay there instead of putting up a boundary. And we can, and we have, but we're going to come back to all of it. All of it will have to be one. And so this is really
Right.
cool because I think we've gotten to a point where people are starting to forgive themselves and forgive each other because it's a simultaneous chemical cosmic reaction, right? And
Mm-hmm.
um, and it's a beautiful thing. It's
Yes, it
such a
is.
beautiful thing because the way I see it, the more you put into what you have in your life with pure intention, the more of it's coming back now.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
Really
coming
fast.
back, yeah, huge, coming back huge.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
justice, love, truth, freedom as an energy, not some type of dogma or narrative.
It is just the universal love, the
I don't know what
heart.
it is. I don't know what it is, but I think we got the newest and best version going.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I haven't asked people this, but in the past, I mean, this month has been absolutely the most incredible experience of my life. And the feeling, mostly what I'm picking up on is telepathy. I would have to say it's telepathic. I have a lot of conversations and all that. But I'm just going to ask you, and there's no right or wrong answer. Have you ever seen the field like you see it now? Have you ever felt your natural, pure self more than you have now? Have you ever seen the light, so to speak, more than right now?
No, I think it's more and more uh, discovering the love within. So I haven't seen myself, in this much light before. And every day is more and more. It's
Yeah,
increasing.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's
And,
crazy? Oh, go ahead. Keep going.
uh-huh.
Keep going. No,
No, go ahead, go
there's a
ahead.
lag. No, you keep going. Keep going.
Well, I was gonna say, I don't know about you, but for me, from the end of the March to the beginning of April, was very intense for me to release the emotions or pain, basically. Can you hear me okay? Because you're doing
Yes.
this.
No, I can hear you fine. I can hear you fine.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so the pain that I was feeling or suppressing or I haven't allowed myself to feel was related to the war that is seemingly happening. Not really the narrative that mass media is, sharing with us, but it's still the war energy, and it felt like it's one of the last big chunk of the pain release, from the earth and from our uh, consciousness, or from our memory, from our cellular memory, from the land, and looking at the pain and allowing myself to feel the pain during that time. Usually I don't really focus on wars, but it really came to me that, maybe I needed to really look at, not maybe, I really needed to look at, and also from the heritage that I was born in Japan, where the nuclear bomb was dropped. And so I was really guided to go into that field of pain. And it was just so, how do you say, nauseating. I felt it, and it was just like really so sick. But it just was releasing and releasing, and uh, you know, it's the past story. But as long as it's within our field, within our body, it's you still hold the pain. Then we tend to repeat the history, right? We tend to repeat or attract that kind of story again and again. And I felt that was one of the big chunk of last pieces that we are releasing and transforming and forgiving and yeah, all that,
Wow.
things to move on to the
That's that's that's
new
really,
level.
yeah. I'm not trying to interrupt you. There's a bit of a
And
lag, but that's really deep. That's pure code because it's
yeah,
coming up. It's coming up because it hasn't been acknowledged to the degree that it's relevant and it's part of us, right? I mean, it's
it
part of
is.
us, and until and the thing that's I think that's happening. I've been talking. Morgan and I obviously talk every day, but like there's things in the past that once they're brought into your awareness and you really are present with it, they no longer have any context. It's like they're gone.
Mhm, mhm.
Like you can remember it, but it doesn't have any type of charge with it. It's just like reading a book or something, like a story.
Mhm. Right? And if there is a charge, then you can look at it too. There's the anger or, tremendous fear. Um, it's just, I can't even imagine how to be in that field where the bomb is, blasted. And when I was young, it was just so cruel, but it was educational film that we all had to watch or something.
Wow.
That I was
You had
traumatized,
to watch
and I
the
don't think it was even shown in America.
you had to
Yeah, when I
watch
was,
the bomb. They had film of the bomb going off on Nagasaki.
I don't know about the film, but film can be,
I
like
mean,
the film that was, filmed from the experiment. But the scene after the bomb,
okay.
and it's like they filmed that in Japan, and it's really funny because none of my family went to the World War II, and I was not really feeling it until really this time that it's just I can't even describe how
Wow.
terrible it was because like the meat is hanging from body and it's showing the bone and everybody's so hot that they're looking for water but you can't really drink water because it's radiation all over the place and I just can't believe they showed us when we were little and that memory came up and then I'm more sensitive and my capacity to feel that is just like overwhelming. I couldn't even open the gallery for 3 days and kind of had to process it. And being in the field of nuclear bomb is like death. It's like death, like no continuation. It's like yeah, it's really, really, really.
Wow.
That's why a lot of the galactics they don't allow us to have that anymore because it just creates tremendous effect. Not just on the Earth but beyond. Yeah,
Wow.
and so feeling all that, and then also in the history of solar system we had that kind of war and then in the history of the universes we had that kind of war in
Mm-hmm.
Orion. That's
Mm-hmm.
like one of the big influence that is having in alongside with what we are experiencing on the earth to deal with the control aspect of beings and we are releasing all that, which is really good because it came to the surface.
That's
And as
that's
you
right.
said, there's no more that is happening. It's just coming up to the surface because it just needs to be released and loved and forgiven and moving on to the new. So I just, yeah, that was one of the things that I was
That's
experiencing recently.
that's so powerful. And we should be getting the best intel we've ever gotten in our life in the moment, right? Like that's so powerful. to, you know, to think that, because, your wisdom, your most sacred wisdom, my most sacred wisdom, any of us, is in the balanced, transparent sharing of our story. So I can't even imagine, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 years old, whatever you were, seeing those videos and pictures and that dogma and that trauma. And it comes up today. I agree with you. It's a lot like our lives, like you said about wars. Like if you look at the war today, the supposed war, whatever it is, it's not sticking. It doesn't have worldwide attention.
Mm-hmm.
People aren't paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
But just like our lives, these things came back, they came back, they came back. And that memory coming up in you, I mean, that's not just about you. It's about all of us. But I mean, for that area where the bombs went off,
Yeah.
you carry a code that we don't have, and you've shared it. And this is embodiment. This is where it's at. Whoever thought just having conversations,
Yeah.
transparent conversations, strengths and weaknesses, shadow and light, and just saying, look, this is where I'm at today. This is what I've got to share. Hey, you want to show some?
Right.
You want to show some of your creations or play some music? Or
Yeah.
what do you feel like
And
doing?
I was
What do you? Yeah.
sure, but I wanted to continue a little more
Yes,
because
go
it
ahead.
was
Yeah,
kind of
by all
fun.
means. By all means.
I
By
was
all means.
listening to your show. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I was listening to your show, and you were talking about dream, lucid dream, and you were mentioning that you were packing stuff to bring it to the new earth,
Yeah.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember? I think you were packing things to bring it to the new earth. And I was, around the time, I was packing the stuff that we don't need from the earth, the new earth anymore. We don't need to bring to the new earth anymore. So you were packing the one that you need, and I was packing the one we don't need. And I remember last year I was so busy packing and packing and packing and moving so many things in my dream. And around the first week of April, when I was going through this, war energy and program, um, I was packing just one thing and nothing else, and that was a sword, the fighting sword that represents war for me. And I was like, that's it. It's like, well, so I was feeling, okay, this is really the last, major piece that we are unpacking, we are releasing. And I thought that was really interesting and fun, symbolic dream that I had. And you mentioned you packing, in a dream, and like, wow, I did the packing too.
I
So,
saw the Yeah, I saw the packing because it was a whole series. They're like coming together more and more as a whole. But there was a period of like 7 days. There was a whole series, and it started out like landing there. It actually started out one of Morgan's groups in like this group visit to the new grid. And when I went in, I saw everything was white. So in the lucid dreams that followed the next few days, everything was white. And even in the one where we were packing, everything was white. So everything we were taking with us was white. So I don't know. I know there's, like what you had to share. I've talked to a couple of other people, in the last week. Kirsty Lee and a couple I can't remember right now. And they had something from way back come up, but they explained it like you did with so much clarity and understanding, and it very shareable. Just this is what it felt like. This is what it felt like today. This is what I know about it. I don't know. There's something going on with the sharing of our frequencies in the most transparent way we can be. And so much of our
Mm-hmm.
code, really all of our code is that's new is from coming into alignment with our experience and seeing it and not pushing or resisting or ignoring or distracting ourselves.
Right. Well, with the best of our abilities.
That's it. And
Mm-hmm.
like you said, we've made a lot of progress, but you got to stay on your toes. But it is like I look at things because it's such a realm where the polarities are so loud, and of course it all comes down to the last two, which is like masculine and feminine. Such a complicated thing, such a journey it's been in the last 10 years, and and I look at that. So I look at and I look at the fact that we're actually creating what's inside of us. So I look at my relationship with Morgan, right? And I go, I mean, like, we can take this as far as we want to. I mean, oneness, getting to oneness with one person, whether it's a romantic relationship or not, is huge for this collective. And I think there's a lot of couples or places where two or three or four or more gather. They're starting to come together. You could say like little circles or little groups or whatever that are really anchoring whatever it is that we're experiencing and actually staying with. I think you used a good word a while
Right.
ago. It's like a maintenance. And I know that's not a great word for it. I mean, I can't think of a better one, but I understood what you meant by that because, like I said, it was like we had to find it, gain confidence in it, embody it, and be it. And that's, I think, what we're doing. We're actually doing it and we're going, you know what? We can do this.
Yes. And what I feel is that, as we come together more and more and share in this way with authenticity, and, then we are really strengthening the new grid.
Oh, yeah.
So we are, I think more and more we are feeling to come together. We feel the inner calling that, in some way we understand coming together is really anchoring in uh, the new earth grid more and more deeper into our physical realm.
Have you felt judgment, um, frequencies of separation, um, kind of fall away or going away, like they're no longer
Yes,
part of your consciousness
yeah,
without
definitely.
especially self-judgment.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I feel that way because I think we feel so much pain if you do that. um, it's self-judgment program is falling.
Yeah.
It's almost like mm, I was also looking at this another way that some of us really feel like we have how do you say uh, what is word implant in a way the program implanted in our system, and that implant, whatever we want to call it, it's energy,
Right.
it's the program that we kind of implanted within ourselves from outside source, or you allow that to happen, but that implant is not really functioning anymore. It doesn't have much power because we are really digging into our own, unconscious program. And so no longer they hold the power unless you give that power.
Yeah. Yeah, I got that a few days.
So
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. There's a lag. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, so I see self-judgment is part of the program, that energetically we kind of inherited for a long time. So I feel that, uh, yeah, I feel that is really subsiding. Like we gained more power to as a creator, as owning this body, every level of the body, then the the energy that doesn't serve for the highest good doesn't work anymore. So I feel that it's really gradually, actually, fast in a fast way, it's really happening.
Yeah.
That's how I can share
Do
my
you?
perspective.
Yes. Thank you. Do you? I know it gets difficult sometimes because we've talked about it so much. We have the physical genders, but we do have a masculine and a feminine energy. And many people can attest to it, but only through their own experience. And I get all that. But, and there's no right or wrong, but like, what are your thoughts on the presence of the Mother Goddess energy, the divine feminine energy? And I know there's a masculine there. And I'm very, we're all very in touch with that. But, like, do you feel like that this is what we're seeing or what's coming into our lives, into our reality? That the Mother Goddess energy that's been suppressed is actually becoming a palpable part of our consciousness that's permeating, into all of our bodies, physical body, etheric bodies, and so on.
Yes, I totally feel that way. For a long time, I feel that Earth itself had this like controlling grid, and not really allowing the life force to come directly to the Earth. And now that grid, we co-created, has been dismantled. So the life force is now coming directly more so to the earth. And for me, the life is mother.
Yeah.
The life, divine mothers, they call it, or cosmic mothers. For me, it's life itself. Like, we couldn't live our life fully before because we had to, be under the control, limitation, the belief system of limitation, and we were not really fully alive, and now we are really having the desire to live fully from our heart,
Yeah.
and that's the mother, the divine mother. We are allowing it to come into our life, our every level of our body, and allowing to live, allowing to express, and that is really coming in. And also to, you know, for me was to, forgiving the aspect of wars. On certain point, I couldn't even bear feeling the pain, and only way to really feel and feel the safety and encouragement and the capacity to transform was to calling in the divine mother essence, the energy, the
Yeah.
love. Without her means plural, but without that energy, I couldn't transform, honestly. And I feel like, many people nowadays, losing mothers, for example, and, awakening into this, love of mother, really appreciating, really feeling the love of mother. And by feeling that we awaken that, that level of love. And so I think our heart sometimes feel lots of pain because we are really, cracking open to feel another level of love. And I feel like that's another thing that, some of us choosing to allow,
Yeah.
So,
Or
yeah. And more we release this, pain and suffering pattern, we have more space to receive that life force. And there's one time I felt that 2 years or 3 years ago when I was doing a walkabout in Australia. I was like in a camper van, traveling in the middle of the desert. And there's one time, it was like last day of that, journey. And I was on some sacred place. Um, and my heart was just so heavy, and that moment, and I released so much of that, pain. I was just crying and all, and boom, all of a sudden I received this life, and it was just amazing that I felt like I have never lived before. It's like, what was the life before? And what is this? I feel so alive. And I feel that was the taste of what, we were supposed to feel, this fullness of liveliness. And it's just beyond what I can explain and express. And, that lasted about 15 minutes. And now, I feel like we are all coming up to that level again to really receive that life and allow this every cell of our body, every emotional body, every mental body and spiritual body to really receive that, life force.
yeah. Yeah, sorry.
That's really, that's a divine mother,
Well,
really anchoring in
so like
for me.
yeah, no, I totally, and thank you for sharing that. Sorry about the lag. I don't know well, I think it's on my end. But like in if it, I believe what you're saying is true. And I believe that we're embodying everything. Everything that is the concept everything we do is the conception of what we experience or what we create. So if the mother goddess energy is coming through and being embodied, I think a big part of our journey is being conscious from a human level of what's actually happening. And I think we're starting to see that. Like with your story and a couple of other stories I've heard, like through your story, like I can imagine the war genes frequency, however you want to put it, the patriarchal frequency, the impression it must have made upon you as a feminine, as a female, as a woman. Like, especially being an empath, if you're like so sensitive already, I would imagine that was a very loud frequency that I guess scared you, could have made you mad, could have, you know, the whole idea of the symbology of the bombs being dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And like, I guess what I'm asking you is like, as a woman who's come face to face, as all of you have, with this war gene, do you feel like that some kind of higher alignment or peace or equilibrium may have come into our potential or even been achieved or being achieved?
Yeah. Yes, definitely so. And we are all doing this too, and not only the wars, but we also have the inner war, inner conflict.
Yeah.
And as we, do the inner work, we are contributing to bring the peace and harmony. And peace and harmony is the divine mothers, it's the life, the nature. In the nature, if you look, everything is in harmony.
Yeah.
And we kind of forgot how to be in the harmony within ourselves and how to be in the harmony with the cycle of that season, cycle of the planet, and cycle of that, whole universes. And as Mother Earth is going through the next level of cycle, we are awakening into our own, natural way to go with her, and true awakening is really to be natural, and
Yeah.
how simple it is and how difficult it is for us sometimes.
Do you like what
And
like on a yeah, sorry. Like on a personal level, like just you from your eyes on a very personal level, as deep as you want to go or not, where are you at right now? Because I look at you, I don't, I don't check, I just come across your energy, I guess, when I'm supposed to. And I've seen like different expressions of you since the last time we talked and even before. And it's almost like your multi-dimensionality, each aspect is coming out and showing itself. Like you're not one thing. Like the picture you sent for this post, for this show. Like a couple of expressions I've seen you do on video in the last 6 weeks. It's like different parts of you are showing up. Does that make sense? Do you feel anything like that, or am I just crazy?
yeah, definitely. I think that's the natural being, that we have so many aspects. And so don't get caught in the one identity and just play with it. One day you're playful like a child, and one day you feel like a goddess or, angel.
And one
And
day you feel like an asshole.
yeah, just bitching, person who's complaining a lot,
Sorry.
or stays like a little weeping child, and just be, free with it. It's like looking at animals in the nature. They go wherever they want to go. Especially look at the little bird. They go to trees and they sing. If they don't feel like singing, they don't. And they migrate wherever they want to go. But they're in the harmony of the nature, though. Even though they are, doing their own thing, but singing is like singing with the Mother Earth. There is no disharmony if you look at the animals. And so I feel like, being multidimensional, that we are, as we awaken more and more, and as we allow ourselves more and more to express, we that's how we discover our gift and the true power, um, true inspiration. And we are all channel of, different dimensions, expression of different dimensions. So, in the future, we're gonna really be expressing 12-dimensional being, 6-dimensional, fourth, fifth,
We
we're gonna be
probably
free.
already
And
are. For
yeah.
God. Like, how do you find your voice if you don't seek your voice? You know what I mean? Like metaphorically, like your soul's voice, which is made up of all these voices without finding those voices. And not just finding those voices, but anything we've ever done, any expression we've ever had, anything we ever any energy we put out. We've all been reading it. It's not about people reading it. It's about us reading ourselves. But I think it's conceivable that we've got to hear some of these voices on our way to finding our singular voice. Like it's got something to do with the same pattern of finding oneness with each other.
Right, definitely. And I think with our own voice, or whatever the way that you want to express verbally, is activating ourselves as well,
Yeah.
So, like, I have been drawing this, whole, multi-dimensional blueprint, for the new earth. I have been doing it because I am activating myself. I have been activating myself. And now, the sound aspect of it is getting more and more, important in a way. We are awakening into the remembrance of creatorship as using the power, using the sound. And so as we allow ourselves more and more, to voice out, to express, we are awakening ourselves. And therefore, we are contributing to awaken others because we are one. Yeah.
That's right. It's
So,
contagious. It's a real virus.
right.
It's a real virus.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. Like that
Yeah.
story you told, that story that you told us. I mean, I know I'm one, but how many people gained a perspective of a soul's journey or a human's journey or a feminine's journey or of somebody who was the victim of war gene? I mean, how many people something turned on and activated within themselves just hearing the mirror of them, which is them, tell the story? Like there's I don't know what could be more grounding and more activating, more awareness coming in than being transparent and telling our stories or expressing ourselves without being embarrassed or without second guessing ourselves, knowing that we can trust those that are holding space as much as we can trust ourselves, not to judge ourselves, but just to let us run free, right?
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, we're allowing to experience and feel more and more. And, more and more we do that, we are playing every part on this, earth drama on the earth and beyond, you know. And yeah, there's no pointing finger anymore. That person is me, and that alien is me too. We are all experiencing as a fractal of the source energy, and really bringing them together in our heart to create this unified field and co-creating with Mother Earth to make this planet as the planet of the heart. So you know feel like I've been drawing this whole blueprint or whatever, the story of the earth. I thought I was drawing about the future, and now that when I draw, it's no more future, it's now that I am drawing, which is just amazing to me.
It is now.
Like you said, we are now here, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. It's every part of where we came from or where we're coming from that we got to come to terms with. It's like you're accepting it, releasing it, aligning with it all at the same time. But there seems to be some really big things that have happened recently, which is around judgment, separation. Like the story you told, the impact of your experience came through. but it didn't leave me with the charge. And you obviously weren't carrying the charge. You were talking about something that would have to be along the lines of child sexual abuse, trafficking. I mean, something that's really like you go, whoa, how could somebody do that? And probably many others have reached a place in proportion to their experience, their life experience, where we've neutralized some really major things. So what's going to happen now because they're no longer here? Like you don't
Right.
carry any resentment,
Well,
you don't carry any hatred, you don't carry the war gene, you don't, you know what I mean? Like so it's like we tried to find it, we found it, we get used to it, and then you're going, whoa, we really did do a lot of work. Look at the change that's come to our atmosphere that we live in. I mean, you see it more and more
yes, and
and
it's
more every
all,
day. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, and it's really all up to us. And that's what I felt, especially this morning, really more deeply, humans, it's really up to you now. And that message that I felt today was like re-empowering, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the scene that this is the world that we're creating.
So what is
I think
this?
that
Is that a painting, or did you
this is,
actually? Is that?
yeah, this one is painting.
It looks like it's a
Yeah,
blanket. It has a lot of depth to it.
I was
Hey,
thinking it's
I'm gonna turn you
a
on the
blanket.
screen. I'm gonna put you on the entire screen, and I'm
Okay,
going
let me do
to
this.
yeah, I'm gonna turn my mic off for a second, and I'm gonna run to the little boy's room.
Oh, I think I got it. Okay, so this one is called "Greeting from the New Earth," and the title doesn't match up anymore because we are living on the earth now. And, this was just a depiction of the feeling that I felt about the new earth, that, the solar energy, the life force is now fully anchored on the earth. And I think that represents as a sun. And you can see all these animals and angels and all the beings are happy together. And I felt this one in my heart. And when I felt that, I just cried for about 2 hours and created the design. And from my feeling, this is what I am creating, for the future earth. It's the joy, abundance, happiness, harmony, you know, self-sustained. It's just coming together in oneness. And the innocence of the creation is back on the earth. That's what I felt and painted. So this one is the Stargate of Golden Age, and I drew this one in 2010, and now we are here. Really went into the gate, you know. And the pyramid that you see on the bottom, I don't know if you can see with this camera. But yeah, we came so much, step by step. And I'm explaining about Stargate of Golden Age. Can you hear? Okay.
Yes, I can hear. I'm with you.
Okay, great. Yeah, I was just saying, how much we came so far to, go through this gate of the, heart gate by allowing every experience as a firm foundation, you know, and gain the wisdom and went through this portal of heart. And we are meeting there together. That's what
When did
I
when did
see
you?
now from this
Yeah.
drawing.
Yes. When did you
And
create?
when this one was in 2010.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, I'll show you the divine feminine and masculine, I think.
Yes.
This one is the divine feminine design. And I showed this one before, but I'll just share this one again. Because it's just good to let these codes go out, on the internet.
Yes.
So this is Mary Magdalene energy is mainly here.
These are wild.
It's the empowered feminine blueprints. So, and this one is the divine masculine rising. This was the last piece that I drew in this style.
Really?
Yes. And before, this one was the last one. Like the paper just ended right there. I had a roll of sheet of this, paper, and when I decided to draw this one, it was just right there. It just ended. So, and in order to draw this one, I really needed to bring the divine feminine codes. So I did a lot of, the mother, sun goddess, different goddess, and representation of the feminine designs. And this one was the last piece that once that the divine feminine is anchored in, fully, then together, more like naturally, automatically, the divine masculine in alignment with the heart will rise. So, drawing this was a confirmation for, what's really going to happen and what's really happening now,
Yeah.
And this one is called Atlantis Rising.
And you do these all by hand?
Yes. So I thought to share some of the, large one with you today, and hoping that, this cause goes out, to the world more and more.
Oh, it's going out. No doubt. Wow. That was an hour of full code. I don't even think it was the words. I think it was just the energy of you know, even like more than you and me, just everybody.
Yeah. Um, and I'm sitting in this temple room, sacred temple room, so it's really charged. And I was hoping that, you know, this energy goes out as well for the highest good of all. And yeah, let's see. There's one more piece. It's in the other room, so I'm just gonna show it on the poster.
Okay.
In the poster, this one is it's called Peace on Earth. How do I say it this way?
I remember this one.
Yeah, and it's really happening too. The divine feminine is here expressing, you know, freely now, and masculine is supporting from the as a foundation instead of, you know, oppressing from the top. You know, the
Yes.
from the top, I guess. You know, and that is flipped. You know, and in that way we can create this infinite, you know, eternal life, and you know the sword. There's a sword on both sides. I don't know if you can see it.
Yes.
Turned into sword, you know, for the fighting. Turned into the lotus flower, and that's really exactly
Yes.
what's really happening energetically for me, you know. And so, yeah, I'm just
That
in awe, you know, how.
that that large rectangle, long rectangle at the bottom, with all those figures in it, looks like a foundation.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And that's that. Those are aspects of us, the
Like our
galactic aspects of us holding the foundation for, you know, it's more like holding the space for us, you know, for the earth to manifest this. So yeah, and that's really happening too. It's amazing how, you know, this drawing taught me, and now I can share. So thank you so much for giving the space to share. So.
well, thank you. Thank everybody for showing up. Things are getting interesting. I've been getting drowsy like the last 15 minutes. You know how the energy comes in and just takes you down for 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Just got to go with it.
Yeah, yeah, we're flowing. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, we're flowing.
Well, at least we know we can. And if we feel uncomfortable, it's okay. No judgment. Go into it. Do what you got to do. Most of us can find private time very easy. We've all been put in these situations where we seem to have solitude accessible to us. So, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that the universe is working with us. And we're not at the party yet, but I think we're
And
at the pre-party.
yeah, yeah, definitely we can feel it. You know, we are really co-creating, and more we realize that we are the co-creator of our own reality and co-creator with the source and Mother Earth, you know, the light beings. It's just amazing, and I don't even feel like I'm feeling that. You know, it's gonna be like explosive if I really feel that, you know, in my heart. Yeah, and yeah, right now I feel like I have an emotion coming up. It's almost like I wanna cry.
Well, whatever
Yeah,
you want to do before we
and
get out
also
of here.
gratitude. Oh, okay.
I mean, oh,
I
hang on.
can sing.
Whatever, yes.
What?
Whatever you want to do to take us out of here, to take us on home, you know, just go ahead and share. And thank you for everything that you've shared.
Thank you so much, and yeah, I really thank you for or providing that opportunity for us to share and putting into the new Earth grid. And I feel that in Arkansas, it's really an important role. Even though you're doing it for your with your with your joy and following the intuition, and also Morgan being in Australia. Australia has been keeping, especially the Aborigines, they have been holding the space of like dream time. And, you both together co-creating, it's just making more possible to bring the, the, the possibility of new earth by coming together, working together, and putting it on to the new grid and meeting there. So I really want to thank you for giving me opportunity to co-create, and also you let me grow over 5-6 times we talked. And I really thank you, because I was scared to death in the beginning. I don't like public talk. And now I am more allowing myself to do things. And, you play a big part of, my growth. So before we end, I just wanted to give thanks to you.
Thank you. Thank you. This is what I'm talking about. Transparency embodied.
Yeah.
Just, it's not perfect, but we're getting there. Well, you take care, and I'll see you again in 2022, maybe in person. I mean, who knows? Soulogy Fest, September 23rd, 24th, and 25th in Arkansas.
Yes, I heard that. Maybe one of these days we'll meet in person again. I still have to hold my gallery space, but we'll see. I will listen to my heart and see the direction, feel the direction where I need to take.
We all know what's the right thing to do. It doesn't make us any more separate than together. We're one. So everything in divine timing. You take care. Thank you for opening up your heart and sharing space with us, honoring us with your presence. And I'll see you when I see you next time.
Thank you.
Take care. Tell Mount Shasta I say hello.